Hey everyone. Well, if we haven't had the opportunity to say it already to you personally, Happy New Year, and welcome to the January edition of the Surroundup, our monthly roundup of news, stories, and analysis that we want to share with you. It's 2021, but the fact is there's still a lot of 2020 uncertainty that is still in the air. So it's the perfect time to introduce our brand new Surround Wealth one-pager to you. The one pager is a weekly planner designed to help you create more control in your life, more certainty in a world that can be truly anxiety inducing. The idea is that by creating more certainty, we become wealthier in every sense of the word. After watching this video, click on the link below to read this month's blog post, which explains the one pager in detail. Now, Andrew, I know you're very passionate about the fact that small details are a huge deal, and that the little things in life can bring us a wealth of joy. Can you give us an example how that held true for you sometime in the past week?
Yeah, so for us, we were referred to a new potential client and really came with some issues and some really seemingly overwhelming issues. And when we thought about that, I was like, there's a lot of things that come up in our lives that have really a potential to be a big thing, where we can make them into be a big thing when they're really, it's how we decide to treat them. And so when we spoke with the client, we broke things down. We made it very simple as to how we were going to proceed, and we prioritized what we needed to do. And we took the most pressing thing, which seemed to be hamstringing this client from being able to think clearly and enjoying life and just knowing that there's certainty around potential to retire. She just couldn't move on to the next step. So we have taken the first approach and first task with her, which is actually catching up on tax returns. And it seemed like a daunting task for her, but we got it handled. And it was a small thing that was made into a big thing. So that provided her, or is providing her, with some clarity, and we can now proceed to the next step. And she's got this cloud of openness, that she can now think more clearly. So we're pretty happy about that. And she was very relieved that we were to help her in that way. So for me, that was huge. I think for us, that was huge. So that was my win, I would say, this week, actually. So Adil, you're our big flag carrier for be anything, but be the best. How did you approach that, or what was the takeaway from this week that really strung home with you?
Sure. Yeah. So when I think about that phrase, be anything but be the best, really what that means to me is trying to perform at whatever you do at the highest level, right? So mine is a little bit more on the personal side, because I think throughout COVID, and even now as we continue through lockdown, performing at a high level is already becoming tough, right? As we have to stay inside. So for me, many of you know that I became a dad at the end of 2019, at the beginning, 2020, in November, right? And what many of you don't know is I also love to listen to podcasts, so specifically news podcasts. So what I found in 2020 was that sort of dropped off, because I used to listen to a lot of those podcasts in the car. So what is my focus in 2021 to continue to try to perform at this highest level is to try to juggle these three things. One, focusing on the little guy, being the dad. Two, the professional, being a wealth advisor, doing the best we can for clients. And third is listening to those podcasts. So it's taking my day and separating those three different pieces so I can actually perform at a high level. I can actually be present. I can actually focus on those things, which is difficult in 850 square feet, because usually podcasts would be in the car, you'd go to work at the office, and then you'd come home and do the family thing. But when you're all in sort of the same space, you really have to separate those three in order to actually focus on them. So that's really been started as the challenge of 2021 and juggling those things. And I think it's going well so far in the first week.
Awesome.
So that's what I've been focused on. Jillian, if I pose a question to you, I know you're determined to use time as efficiently as possible. In the past week, can you give us an example of how you sidelined a distraction and felt wealthier as a result?
Absolutely. I mean, as with many people, I look at the beginning of January each year, as I sometimes do the beginning of September, because back to school sort of has the same feeling as a fresh start. But I look at the beginning of January each year as a way or a time to begin a new set of habits. And one of the habits I really wanted to become better at in 2021 was the partitioning of my time for the purposes of sticking to the things that I had intended to do. It's very, very easy in this world of notifications and emails and phone calls to constantly get pulled off task. And there's lots of science around the fact that every time you're pulled off task, it actually takes a certain amount of time to get back on task. And that time wastage really could be avoided if you simply stick to the thing you were working on and then methodically move to the next thing. So my efficiency of time has really been improved, in fact, by using two sections in particular for this habit on the one pager. One of them has to do with time blocking. So my morning, evening, afternoon on the 7 days of the week, what is it that I am blocking that time to do? And a big thing that I've had to really earmark and carve out is the management of my inbox, because I could literally manage my inbox 24 hours a day. And my kids have actually called me on that and said, Mom, why are you still looking? If it frustrates you so much that you can't get caught up, why do you look all the time? And I'm like, well, it's because I want to get caught up. And I realized that that's not ever going to happen. So really parking time for management of my inbox has been a huge win in the last couple of weeks, as has, believe it or not, I've turned off every single notification on my phone except for my messages and my phone itself. But every other app on my phone, I don't have live notifications running to me anymore. I actually have to decide to go into that app. And I have found that that has given me it's definitely a bit of a withdrawal to get through that period of adjusting to those new levels of non-notification. But I've found that's given me much more feeling of control over my intentions and making sure that I'm executing what I decided to do instead of what somebody else has thrown at me. I'm still managing all those other aspects and making sure that we're responding to clients in a very timely manner, usually within the same day that they've sent something out to us. But it's obviously gives you a great feeling of wealth when you have that feeling of peace and of certainty about getting things done in your day. So we hope that you will have a click below, have a look at the one pager, reach out to us, as we've mentioned in the blog, if you'd like some coaching on it or you want to bring it up at your next meeting. We think it's a great piece. We hope it adds value to your day. And as always, we hope you have an amazing day.
Be well.
Stay connected.
Bye-bye.
Bye.